pretty soon, China and Europe and Asia, they're going to overcome our country's status as the world leader in this. And this is going to be the next era of leadership. This is going to be where it happens. So we've got to start preparing our students for globalization, basically. Globalization considering sustainable tenant. Third, to set ourselves apart. And this is something that our president's very apt to. That's one of the main reasons she wanted to do this, because nobody else in Mississippi was doing it, and there's very few people in the Southeast. So she said, we're going to become the sustainability leaders in our region. Recruitment, we're already starting to see students wanting to come to Southern Miss because we are leading in sustainability. And then lastly, savings. I have 3 people in my office, myself, Haley, and Sean. And through our efforts this year, if I took all the fuzzy numbers and all of the solid numbers, I'd say about $2 million. And I can't think of another institution that's doing the kind of recruiting and cultural development we're doing and actually saving millions of dollars. Very important. Okay, so whose job is 2020's budget, you know? And the truth is nobody's. The way that jobs are set up nowadays is make your numbers this year, create your budget, next year you better hit it. But nobody thinks about, what about 2020? So, some things that we have to think about at home and here in our institutions, our companies, our organizations, our governments. One, energy production. Forget mass-generated alternative power, okay? You're not going to see it, especially in the Southeast. You're going to have to start thinking about how we're going to power these buildings in 20, 30 years without hooking up to the grid. Transportation. Not everybody can ride a bike. How are you going to get to school? Administrators, how are you going to operate without students? I was having a conversation with our president, our vice president of student affairs, and our dean of students. And the president asked the dean of students, what are you concerned about in the next couple of years? And he said, I'm concerned about the mental state of returning servicemen and women from theaters of combat. It's legit, okay? Vice President for Student Affairs said, well, I'm concerned about enrollment and how this economic situation is going to affect enrollment. She looked at me and she said, what are you worried about? I said, being here, existing. And I'm like, what? I said, look, we've got 3,400 students that live on campus and another 3,000 that live around us in apartment houses. You know? That's a little bit more than half of our students for this campus. We have another 3,000 that live 30 miles away. How are they going to do that when gas costs $10 a gallon? You know? And it's just like, whoa. You know? Good point. Construction. Life cycle cost. Okay, you look at a building, you're like, you can build this building really cheap for $15 million, or we can build it LEED Silver certified or gold or platinum for 20. Okay? Well, you know, the way that our budget laws or our procurement laws are set up in Mississippi is you have to spend 15. You can't spend the 20 million for the smarter building unless you specify that, which means planning principles. At Southern Miss, we have planning principles that say that everything we build over 5,000 square feet will be LEED Silver certified. We have put it in this past year, we have said in our professional public documents that we will not build cheap energy hogs ever again. You have to look at life cycle, and when you get to value engineering administrators on your plans, don't take the energy efficiencies or the energy production out, okay? Start thinking about the millions you're going to spend in that building for the next 50 years. And then lastly, potential legislation. There's some things that our institutions, our state, we're not thinking about, and they're coming. We're going to see renewable portfolio standards, federal laws that says that you have to produce so much of your energy from renewables. You're going to start seeing laws that say you have to build your buildings this way, that you have to start thinking about mass transportation. And, you know, we're just going to, once again, Mississippi's just going to play catch up, you know? I grew up in Pascagoula, Mississippi, with my feet in the water. I love this place. I left. I I saw the world, I came back, I want to make a difference. You know? But it's frustrating some days, guys, to see how far we are behind and how hard we're going to have to run to catch up. And we're going to be forced to do it. Okay? This is the vision statement for our university. So we've actually put it on paper. It said, this is who we are, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it. The University of Southern Mississippi will strive to become the model of sustainable thought and practice within our state and region. Through development of ideas and programs, we will encourage healthy dialogue, forward thinking, and behaviors that instill a collective awareness and concern of how our impact affects future generations. I've said that a few times. Our operations now, that's who we're going to be, that's what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. Our operations will function at all times in mindful accordance with the tenets of sustainability, and we will leverage our strength as a research institution to encourage thought leadership, knowledge communities, and innovation with the realm of sustainability. These are the things we're doing well. We've signed AccuPuck. We've said we've made a commitment to reducing our carbon emissions and doing sustainability. We have groups, the UC3, which is my oversight committee, and we have my office. We have planning principles put into place that say we're going to build, we're going to develop in a certain manner. iTech has adopted my motto of every plan we make and every action we take. I'm terribly proud of them. That means we're going to get more efficient computers. Energy Group, we have a group of deans, directors, and officers that we meet once a month, and we talk about how we're going to reduce consumption from the bottom up, and possibly the top down, meaning getting people to turn their computers and lights off. Okay? We're developing an environmentally responsible purchasing policy. We're developing curriculum. We have one master's in sustainability coming out pretty soon. We're going to have undergraduate degrees in sustainability where you come and you study and you learn sustainability at our institution and you go out and change the world. Climate neutrality plan, which we have to write next year, Lord help me, which means we actually have to tell the world how we're going to become climate neutral, carbon neutral within the next 40 years. Energy management plan and cultural development. We're doing Earth Week this year. It's huge. Basically, I've got all sorts of programming and student groups and stuff going on to where we're actually trying to embrace change from our students out. Here are the bad things. Athletics. Man, I can't get them to turn the lights off in the stadium. And they do some of the dumbest stuff. They'll take like a schedule card and put it in an envelope with a label and then put it in the thing in the mailboxes, and they all go in the recycling can. It's supposed to just taking the schedule card, put it in the mailbox. They're not starting their thought processes with sustainability. The police, Chief Hopkins called me yesterday, I'm like, dude, why'd you buy that big old Chevy Tahoe? You know? Lights. We did a survey, 2,000 responses. Not one person said they left their lights on, but I guarantee you come to our university tonight, there's lights on. Okay? Parking garage. Get me started on this one, I'm going to go crazy. We're going to spend $17 million on a parking garage, as opposed to using $500,000 to actually solve the parking problem through a comprehensive transit system, improved bike infrastructure, and improved pedestrian infrastructure. The president knows I'm not real happy about this, because in 20 years we're going to just look at this stick instruction and try to determine how we're going to make it into classrooms, because people aren't going to be driving cars. Yeah. Inter-campus driving, a third of our students actually drive from one side of campus to the other, looking for a parking spot. You can walk it in 7 minutes. I know, because we've done the research. And in catalog, Haley called me yesterday. I was like, okay, what kind of examples of stupidity can we find? And she said, I'm wrapping up stuff in a catalog right now. Meaning we still produce class catalogs, you know? I don't know. You know, I'm not sure we need to do that. But, you know, you got a couple hundred students who demand it, and so you produce, 5,000. All right, I'm done now. But it all comes down to this. I was at the Masters this past Monday with a buddy of mine, Pat Foley. He runs our dining on campus, and he's super smart. And we were having this conversation about what does sustainability really mean? Well, it all comes down to cost. He said sustainability all comes down to cost, or pain, Larry. Pay it now or pay it later. You're going to pay. Okay? Real cost of stuff, making decisions for the future. And then Matt Savinar, who's a lawyer and author, you can read some of his books, he basically says, deal with reality or reality will deal with you. usm.edu/green. Green at usm.edu comes to all of myself and my staff, and I'm at larry.lee@usm.edu. Thank you.